Hello, how are you doing today? You know, I used to think that if my calendar wasn't full, I wasn't doing life right. That if every hour wasn't booked, if I wasn't juggling a dozen things at once, then somehow I was fading, not needed, not important. That's what the world tells us, isn't it? That to be worthy, you have to be in motion. To be seen, you have to be busy. I believed that for a long time. For years, I wore my exhaustion like a badge of honor. Early mornings, long hours, always on. And then one day, the schedule stopped. Retirement came. And with it, something I never expected: silence, space, time. And to be honest, at first it scared me. I'd wake up without a plan, and I'd feel like I was wasting away. But something beautiful happened in that stillness. I started to hear myself again, and what I realized was life hadn't ended. It had just changed form. My value hadn't disappeared. It had shifted into something quieter, deeper, and far more lasting. There's a strange kind of identity crisis that creeps in when you step out of the workforce, and no one really prepares you for it. For decades, you were known by what you did. You had a role, a title, a purpose stamped into every introduction. Oh, that's Tom, he's a manager, or that's Bill, he's with the city. And those few words carried weight. They opened doors, earned respect, gave you a place in conversations. But then one day, that part of your life ends. And suddenly, the phone stops ringing. No more deadlines. No more office buzz. No more people coming to you needing answers. And you're left standing in the quiet, wondering, who am I now? You don't hear your name followed by a job title anymore, just silence. And in that silence, the question grows louder. Was my worth tied to what I did? I know this feeling because I've lived it. The disorientation, the loneliness, the fear that maybe your best days are behind you. But what I've come to learn, and I say this with everything in me, is that this stage of life isn't about fading away. It's not a slow erasure. It's a sacred return. A return to who you were before the job titles, before the long commutes and 9 to 5s, before your calendar dictated your every move. It's a chance, maybe the first real chance in decades, to ask yourself what you want. Not what your boss wanted, not what your family needed, not what society expected, but you. What brings you joy? What gives your days meaning now that you're free to live them on your terms? This is the chapter where obligation steps aside and intention takes the wheel. You get to build your days around what fills your spirit. Maybe it's time with grandkids. Maybe it's walking in nature, reading, painting, volunteering, sitting on the porch and finally watching the sun rise without rushing off anywhere. And in those moments, something beautiful happens. You begin to remember that you were never just your job. You were never just the paycheck or the problem solver. You were always more. Now, you have the space to live that more with presence, with purpose, and with peace. Because being fully here in each moment is worth more than any office or title ever gave you. It's not the end of your story. It's the chapter where you finally get to write it your way. We live in a culture that equates stillness with stagnation. If you're not constantly moving, producing, proving, society makes you feel like you're falling behind, like quiet days are wasted days, like slowing down means giving up. But let me tell you something that took me a long time to understand. That kind of thinking is backwards. It's built for machines, not people. Because the truth, the deep, unshakable truth that no one tells you, is this: rest is not the absence of purpose. Rest is the foundation of it. It's where clarity grows. It's where wisdom takes root and starts whispering the answers you couldn't hear when you were rushing. It's where you reconnect, not with the chaos of the world, but with the quiet truth of who you are. And in that space, you start to remember what's real. Not the things you were told to chase, not the money, the titles, the busyness, but the things that feed your soul: time, love, presence. And listen, your presence matters deeply. Your quiet, grounded, steady presence is not a void. It's an anchor. It's calming to others. It gives people around you permission to slow down, to breathe, to feel safe. You may not be leading boardroom meetings or returning dozens of calls a day, but you are leading in another way, with your essence, with your being. Your words carry weight now, not because of volume, but because of experience. Your stories, they hold history. Your laughter, it echoes with memory. And your hugs, they carry warmth that only years of loving and living can give. That's not small. That's not invisible. That's legacy. And legacy isn't built in the noise. It's built in presence, in the way you show up, with heart, with wisdom, with peace. So don't let anyone, especially not your own inner critic, convince you that rest is laziness. It's sacred, it's necessary, and it just might be your most meaningful contribution yet. And if you've been waking up lately feeling like you should do more, like the world has somehow moved on without you, let me tell you something straight from the heart. You are not alone. This quiet ache, this sense of restlessness, it's more common than people admit, especially after retirement, when the noise fades and the busy schedule you once depended on disappears. That silence can feel deafening. You look around and wonder, what's my role now? What am I contributing? And that question can gnaw at your spirit. But listen to me, you haven't been left behind, not even for a second. You've simply stepped into a new rhythm, one that's slower, yes, but also deeper, more deliberate, one that asks not what you can produce, but how you can be. And that shift from doing to being, it's not a loss. It's an evolution, one where your worth isn't tied to what you tick off a to-do list, but to the quiet, calm presence you now offer to the world. You see, we live in a world obsessed with productivity. Everyone's sprinting towards something, heads down, eyes on the next task, the next accomplishment. But in the rush to do more, they often miss the moment. They miss the beauty of now. You have the rare opportunity to slow down and truly see, to feel, to notice things others overlook. The way the light moves across your living room in the morning, the sound of birds before the world wakes, the subtle joy in a grandchild's laughter. These aren't little things, they're everything. You now have time to experience life with awareness and fullness, not just speed. That's not just valuable, that's wisdom in motion. That's what younger generations crave, even if they don't know how to ask for it. You living with presence is a quiet revolution against a world that never stops moving. And trust me, your stillness speaks louder than all the noise around you. So no, you don't need to be busy to be important. You've already proven yourself. You've carried burdens, built homes, raised children, shown up day after day through joy and sorrow. Now, your worth isn't something to earn. It's something to embody. In how you listen, in how you love, in how you simply are. And that is more than enough.